Welcome to the Tax Show with Peter Stephan from the Tax Resolution Institute and our friend Jim Felton from Greenberg and Bass. I'm Brian Whitman from The Morning Answer. We are here every Sunday afternoon at this time through tax season to talk about tax problems, talk about bankruptcy, talk about unresolved tax issues, and we appreciate your listenership, and there's a whole lot of information here on this program every single Sunday afternoon. Peter Stephan from the Tax Resolution Institute at taxresolutioninstitute.com, and I say go to that website because there's a ton of information there, and Peter specializes in resolving unresolved tax issues, and we'll talk about that in just a moment. Jim Felton from Greenberg and Bass deals with bankruptcy. We were talking just before the show started here this afternoon. We were talking about the importance of having somebody, Jim, handle your bankruptcy who is a professional, somebody who has a whole lot of experience. You've been doing it since the 80s, right?
Pretty much, yes. 1988.
Okay, so folks, when Duran first went on world tour, Jim was handling bankruptcies. If that doesn't give you an idea of how experienced this fellow is, I don't know what does. And a lot of times today, people, quite seriously, people have to handle a bankruptcy issue they have to file, they'll turn to the internet. And people handle these issues oftentimes in a very cavalier way. If you're diagnosed with heart disease, you'll find the best cardiologist. If you've got a financial problem and you need to deal with it, and a bankruptcy is something you have to deal with, you've got to turn to someone who's got a wealth of experience. And you're that guy, Jim. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure, Brian. Thank you for the Duran reference, too.
Yes, and by the way,
brings me back.
Yeah, yes. By the way, he's wearing a Michael Jackson Thriller jacket. I mean, it's like totally 80s here this afternoon.
We weren't supposed to discuss that,
and
but anyway.
And the one glove, I've never seen that. It's remarkable.
Your analogy was really tremendous because the fact is your physical health is no different than your financial health. What we've learned over almost 30 years giving bankruptcy advice is that experience teaches you what to do and what not to do. There are people through the yellow pages and the internet that can file your bankruptcy, but they probably don't have the level of knowledge or experience that we do. We know, we've made mistakes and you learn from them. And that's why you want someone who's experienced. That's why you want an experienced quarterback, because he knows that there may be a different defense that is going to show up that he didn't expect, but he's seen it before, so he knows what to expect. And that's the same thing from your doctor analogy. That doctor's performed thousands of surgeries. You want that doctor, you want that financial surgeon, because we've seen it all, and we know what the potholes are, and we know what blocks are coming, and we know what to do when things unexpectedly occur.
When people are encountering something like a bankruptcy, and of course it's a life-changing event. I mean, I've not filed bankruptcy, but I assume for those who have, it's a life-changing event. And I think that I don't know if it's a cliche, Jim Felton, to say that it offers you a fresh start, that it really is a fresh start, not only in your financial life, but in your life, in your practical life.
It's not a cliche at all. In fact, the whole purpose of filing for Chapter 7 bankruptcy or even Chapter 11 or Chapter 13 is to get a fresh start. It is to allow either an individual or a business to deal with the obligations they have, either discharge them or modify them such that they can be paid over time, and then give the individual or a business a chance to recover and start over. So no, it's not a cliche. It's actually the whole purpose of the statutory scheme for filing bankruptcy.
Our friend Peter Stephan here from the Tax Resolution Institute, with whom I've worked personally. Tax Resolution Institute helped me. I like to say you rescued me. I had a tax problem. You guys stepped in and resolved the issue, dealt with it on my behalf because. Again, I'm not going to get on the phone and call the Franchise Tax Board, and I'm not going to call the IRS. And you do that, Peter Stephan, at the Tax Resolution Institute on behalf of your clients. You, too, offer a fresh start because when people are living, as I've said before, when people are living with the fear and the stress associated with an unresolved tax issue, it really it holds you back. I mean, you wake up in the morning, and I promise you, within the first couple of minutes, it's one of the first things you think about is that unresolved tax issue.
You know, I understand that, and Brian, what people need to understand and realize, especially if they don't get notices for quite some time, because that's a question I get quite often. I didn't get the notice, so I don't owe it. Well, the IRS is not going away. They're the largest, most powerful collection agency in the world, and they're not going to lose your file. And so if you get that notice in the mail, or even if you didn't, if you know that you owe taxes, you ought to call the Tax Resolution Institute or go to our website at taxresolutioninstitute.com and shoot us an email.
And the number is 800-658-7590, 800-658-7590 to get in touch with Peter Stephan at the Tax Resolution Institute.